Hey, how's it going guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toasty Bros, and today we're checking out a $1,300 HP Omen with some new RTX inside.
An RTX 3060 packed inside this laptop, and you can actually buy it. But before we talk about this laptop, let's hear a word from today's sponsor.
Today's advertisement is brought to you by Accelerate Gaming by PNY and their latest Gen 4 SSD, the CS3140. This SSD is blazing fast with sequential read speeds up to 7,500 megabytes per second and write speeds up to 6,850 megabytes per second, and comes with an integrated aluminum heatsink to help improve performance during sustained loads. The CS3140 is great for intense workloads by providing faster boot up times and application launches, making it a great option for your next gaming or even workstation PC. Accelerate Gaming by PNY should be your one-stop shop for your next Gen 4 SSD, along with RGB memory and GeForce GPUs. Check the link in the description down below to learn more, and special thanks again to Accelerate Gaming by PNY for bringing you today's advertisement.
HP was nice enough to send over this HP Omen, and we will have links in the description down below that will be affiliate links and will make HP happy if you decide to buy this laptop.
And the main reason we wanted to take a look at it is because, well, it has a freaking RTX 3060. You can't buy those in desktop form, so why not go with a laptop? So let's not waste any more time and open this thing up and see what she looks like.
And hey, if the total of this laptop is $1,300, that's close to what you're gonna pay for just an RTX 3060 at scalper pricing. So this is pretty impressive if it stacks up. All right, so let's go ahead and unbox this with the big scary knife. Ooh, that was smooth.
Super smooth.
HP knows how to package. So this is an HP Omen that is a 15.6-inch laptop, and it does use their new Omen logo, which I still am having trouble liking, but you know what? It doesn't look that bad. So the main specs of this laptop are the i5-10300. You have an RTX 3060, 16 gigs of RAM, which is dual channel. Matt paid extra for that. Well, he asked for it extra.
Hey guys, Future Matt here. We made a little bit of an oopsie. This laptop that's featuring in today's video only has 8 gigs of RAM. Dual channel memory, but only 8 gigs of RAM. For some reason, HP sent us the wrong model without the 16 gig upgrade. Probably just a miscommunication between our rep and I, so I apologize for that one. So when you see the benchmark runs and I look all really confused, like where's the bottleneck coming from, it's because we only have 8 gigs of RAM in this system. So spend the extra money. It is still roughly $1,300 to get it with 16 gigs of RAM. With 8 gigs, it's around $11.99, so it is cheaper. So we have the cheaper model here, but do keep in mind we are focusing this video on the 16 gig of RAM model because it is definitely significantly better, and we really recommend you use that model instead of the one in today's video. So apologize for that. Couldn't reshoot this, but I wanted to mention this just in case you guys are not really confused and yelling at the screen like, hey Matt, this thing is not even going past 7 gigs of RAM in Call of Duty Cold War, what gives? I don't know what I was doing that day. All right, back to the video.
Keep saying fade, HP is just too nice. And we also have a 512 gig NVMe SSD. Don't forget, HP is pretty cool, and you go on their site and you can configure all kinds of things. So you could make this a little bit cheaper, you could make it a little bit more expensive, but man, does it look nice. I really enjoy the recessed keyboard that this has, because more than likely you're gonna be using a mouse with this anyways if you're gonna be gaming, so it's kind of nice. It's like a really big wrist rest essentially. But we have a really nice big display here, 15.6-inch, 1080p, 144 hertz display. So this really could be used for some competitive gaming like Valorant, Fortnite, and many more because it's an RTX 3060. But yeah, we got the typical red keys. Now let's check what we got as far as ports. We have, what is that, just mini display port?
That's a mini display port.
Mini display port. We have a USB Type-C, 2 USB 3s on the side. We have nothing on the back. Really big fan grill, I like that. We have a combo jack, we have Ethernet, and we have another USB, HDMI out, another, oh wait, that's a power port. This is the combo jack. And then we have a full-size SD card reader, which is actually really nice to have if you do content creations. Content creations. But this, I just want to point this out. This is cool. We have a huge fan grill that is very obviously raised for good reasons. We have actually red lighting on the fans. You can see we have 2 fans here. So it looks really cool.
Hi there.
Definitely.
I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Here she comes again.
Always coming in hot. So overall though, Matt and I, we're gonna test some games on it, and you gotta keep in mind, for $1,300, you're getting a keyboard, you're getting a mouse, you're getting a battery, like an all-in-one power package, 144 hertz, 15.6-inch monitor. You have a webcam, you have speakers, and you have a microphone. So you really have an all-in-one setup in a sense, which, speaking of all-in-one setup, we will be doing a full laptop setup with us soon that'll have dual monitors and stuff, and it'll be pretty cool. So What do you think, Matt?
Let's just install some games. I mean, it looks pretty good on first impression. I'd be interested to see how that i5 handles that 3060. There are updated specs you can get with an i7 if you want to spend a little bit more, but at $1,300, I think that's a pretty good sweet spot for a laptop at this, well, spec level. So how about we not waste any more time, install some games, and come back when they're actually installed, because it's probably gonna take a little bit.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, now that we have this laptop all booted up and ready to go, let's test it in some games. First up, as you can see right here, we have Call of Duty Cold War, and I will say first things first, this thing is revving up. And well, it's a good thing. It's keeping the CPU pretty cool right now, but I have seen it spike up to 80 to 90 degrees, so that i5 does tend to run a little bit hot, which isn't the end of the world because some laptop CPUs can run hot. They are rated to run a bit hotter, but it could be a detriment to your clock speed on that i5. So we'll see how this thing performs in a game like Cold War on medium-high settings, and just kind of see if the balance of the 3060 and 10300H actually makes sense, because they do sell up-spec models, which I did go for the 16 gig RAM model as opposed to the base model, which is only 8 gigs. So I'm just kind of curious to see if it'd be worth going with the i7. I already think it probably is, but I just wanted to see how this one, well, actually pans out because it is only $1,300. So once we get in the game, we'll see what kind of numbers we get. All right, so right now we are running on a mixture of medium-high settings. I do have DLSS on for performance, but I'm thinking I might just turn that off and actually just run on non-DLSS modes. We're gonna go ahead and adjust that real quick and see what kind of performance we can get, because the performance wasn't looking too hot out the gate, but yeah, there we go. 80 plus FPS on medium-high settings. If I did optimize that DLSS settings a little bit more, I probably could get more frames. So do keep that in mind. That is an awesome feature from NVIDIA that allows you to get some upscaling and improve the performance. But when we're on a 1080p display, trying to get over 144 FPS, which I don't think we're gonna do here, you really don't need to use DLSS. I mean, it can help a little bit, but it's mainly for if you're using like a 4K monitor or a 1440p monitor. So let me get a little tunnel vision and see if I can go get some kills. So I'm thinking while I'm waiting, I'm gonna lower some of the settings a little bit and see if we can get close to the 144 FPS mark. I do think, oops, I may have bugged it out here. Let's see, nope, I didn't. All right, so we're gonna apply that. We're gonna mess with the settings and see what I can do here. Lower all the high stuff down to medium. We'll do like low for this. Anti-aliasing is set to, where'd it go? Anti-aliasing is set to medium. Let's do low and just see how close we can get to 100 plus. Doesn't look like we're getting much higher, so I'd probably run on higher settings to get a better experience, a better visual quality at least, but I think we're pretty much stuck at that 90 to 100. I do think that's probably to do with that i5, even though it is not pinging really high. There is a bottleneck somewhere here in the system that's holding this thing back. Oh, there we go. But I do really like this laptop as a whole. The screen is really nice, looks very vibrant, nice colors on it. The 144 Hertz is definitely really buttery smooth when we are getting upwards of 60 FPS. Ideally, you don't even need to hit over the 144 Hertz mark. That is the ideal situation, but just getting over 60 really provides a more fluid gaming experience and just an overall more enjoyable desktop experience. The speakers are really loud. Absolutely love having good speakers on a laptop, especially as someone who works a lot on a laptop. I really like to have some speakers for music or just enjoying looking at content. So, I mean, overall, this is a pretty good laptop, and having that 3060 in there, a GPU that, yes, it is definitely down spec from a desktop 3060, don't get me wrong. It is still a pretty cool GPU to have, especially since you can't buy the actual ones on the, well, desktop side. So, ooh, I just got sniped. All right, one more run, then we're gonna switch games real quick. Okay, gamers. Oh, I tried my best. But hey, look at that. Over 90 FPS into 100 sometimes. If you really dived in and did some optimizations with the settings, maybe try to look up some pro settings for a game like Cold War, you probably could get that 144 FPS, but ideally getting over, well, 90 FPS is still a really awesome gaming experience. Let's try another game real quick. All right, guys, here we are in good old Fortnite. Now, we are gonna be running on performance mode, which, from what I've heard, the best settings for performance mode are epic view distance and meshes all the way up to high. Could be totally wrong there. Let me know down below if I am, but we are running on performance mode now, and these are kind of like the new pro settings. Main reason I'm running on performance mode is I am slightly concerned that the i5 is gonna hold us back in a game that's very CPU dependent. So we'll try to get over 144 FPS constant. I think we'll be able to achieve that at least. At the very least, we'll probably get, well, around 100 plus FPS most of the time, but we might get some stutters and we might need to lock it to 144 FPS, which isn't a big deal and probably make for a much smoother experience. But I am kind of concerned about that i5 because in the past when we've had systems with this i5, Fortnite tends to struggle. So we'll see what it looks like once we actually get into a match. All right, guys, here we are in Fortnite. We're gonna drop as hot as we possibly can, hopefully get some action here and see what kind of frame rate we can get. We really won't know the full frame rate until we fully land because in pretty much every time I've tested Fortnite, the frame rate's always kind of wacky, jumping off the bus and actually trying to land. So yeah, as long as we're getting 144 FPS, I will be happy. But I do have some concerns just due to my experience with using this i5 in games like Fortnite that are very CPU dependent. But so far, it's looking okay. I expect the frame rate to jump once we land, but yeah, let's get into some Fortnite action and see what this laptop can do. Because I know a lot of you might be considering this for Fortnite, and you could do some live streaming with Fortnite also with this laptop. That's definitely not out of the question, especially using the in-bank encoder on that 3060. So as we land here, the textures are still pretty slow to low in. We are getting over 200 FPS. That's exactly what we need. So I feel pretty good about this. Let's see if I can actually get everything I need to, well, kill some people, but it looks like some of the stuff is really slow to load in. Not really sure what's going on with that, but it is still a very buttery smooth experience. This is the perfect way to fully take advantage of that 140 hertz screen. As in esports titles like this, you probably get very similar results in a game like Valorant or CSGO. I was gonna say Fortnite again, but games like this, you have no problems getting over 144 FPS and have a pretty buttery smooth gaming experience on the go. Oh, that was pretty easy. That guy was not ready for any sort of action. Oh, now I can actually see, yay. But yeah, the frame rate is staying pretty solid, over 144. If you did want to make sure you had a locked 144, I would probably set the max frame rate to 144 to match the monitor's refresh rate. But it looks like, ooh, we got a couple of dips here and there. You know, it's not a perfect experience now that I can see that running around. And I bet in some like higher end like games, like in-game modes, you probably would get some stutters. It looks like I'm having some network issues too, so that could be part of the problem why I'm like bouncing around a little bit, so do keep that in mind. Of course, our Wi-Fi here is absolutely awful. We have good internet, but the Wi-Fi situation is a little bit atrocious at times, but in buildings, really smooth. I think if you're playing Fortnite, you would have no problems with this, and even if you optimize the settings a little bit more, especially if you know more about the settings than I do, you could probably get a more stable experience. Am I in like the bot elo again? Every time I play this game, I feel like Jackson makes the joke that I'm in like a bot elo where like everyone's absolutely awful, and I feel like I'm having that same situation again. But yeah, no, Fortnite more than playable. Unless somebody comes running up on me, we're probably gonna wrap up the benchmarking right here. Got a couple kills, looking pretty nice, and we have a few more games to test to see what this laptop is truly capable of doing. Yeah, that's about it. Let's go. All right, guys, the last two games we are gonna be testing are using built-in benchmarks. This is Shadow the Tomb Raider, which is our built-in benchmark of choice. We are gonna be running at, let's see what settings we got going on here. We're gonna run at, you know, let's do high settings. We're gonna max out this 3060 at 1080p and see how well it runs. And then we're gonna be also running the built-in benchmark for Borderlands 3, which I have not done yet on the channel, so I'm not totally sure how well it works, but we're gonna run that also and just kind of see what performance we can get. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. All right, guys, it looks like we averaged 75 FPS, which is no easy feat for Shadow the Tomb Raider on high settings, so this thing could definitely play pretty much any AAA title you throw at it. Let's try Borderlands 3 and then wrap this video up real quick. All right, guys, the last game we're gonna be benchmarking is Borderlands 3, and we're running on the high preset. We're gonna run in the built-in benchmark. Again, I've not run this before, so I'm not totally sure how it works. We're gonna hit start benchmark, and I'm assuming we'll get an average FPS number at the end of this to compare to other PCs out there, so let it run. All right, guys, so it looks like we ended with an average of 70 FPS, which as I was watching the benchmark, it did dip below 60, a decent amount down to 40. So ideally, you probably want to run this on like medium settings to get a locked 60 FPS experience. But yeah, for Borderlands 3, not too bad. How about we bring Jackson back in here to wrap this video up real quick?
So in conclusion, this laptop plays really every game that you throw at it, which you kind of expect with an RTX 3060 and a 10th Gen i5. Now we do have a couple of complaints about cooling, but they're not really complaints, more of suggestions.
You can go ahead and get the upgraded version with like an i7 if you want to, but what would be really awesome because of the thermal constraints is if they release a model with something like a Ryzen CPU in it, that'd be pretty good. Some of the newer Ryzen CPUs, the mobile ones in particular, run really cool and will perform better. So if there's a version of that out there and the pricing's right, that's a good one to consider. But this i5 10th Gen does pretty good, and for the fact that you're getting this laptop for $1,300 shipped to your door, it's still a pretty good deal, and we highly suggest using the link in the description down below to purchase it if you are interested. It is an affiliate link and it will help us out.
Now another thing we'll also have in the link in the description down below will be a laptop stand, which will have a built-in fan. We'll just link one from Amazon that is a 15.6-inch one, but that will really help with any thermal throttling this might have, and realistically it'll help the laptop boost even better. So not only will it keep your lap cool and not on fire, but it'll also make sure that the laptop can perform at its very best. So we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't already, check out our other two YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. And do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.
Now, one thing you guys should really check out if you can't get enough of us on YouTube is our Twitch, our Instagram, our Snapchat, our OnlyFans. No, I'm just kidding. We don't have Snapchat or OnlyFans, but we do have pretty much every social media and even
TikTok. We do a lot of fun stuff on TikTok now. Our editor McAllister does a lot of stuff over there. So does Zach. The entire team contributes to that awesome platform, and we stay relevant by posting on there. So take a look. Link in the description down below. See you guys later. Goodbye.
boomers.